What can you do about writer's block? The answer to this question coming up. So I imagine that this has probably happened to you at some point. You open up your computer, you open up a blank page, you stare at that blank page, you stare for a bit longer, and you finally give up and decide, I'm not going to get any writing done today. If so, you have experienced writer's block. So in this video, I want to talk about what actually causes writer's block, and more importantly, how you can prevent it from happening to you. Well, the main reason you are staring at a blank page 20 minutes after starting to stare at a blank page is because you started with a blank page. I know that makes perfect sense, right? It sounds like a catch-22, but it's not really. So let me explain. In order to understand what actually causes writer's block, you need to understand a little bit about how your brain processes information. Basically, thoughts in your brain are related to one another. One thought brings out the next related thought. So let me put you inside my brain for a second. I might start by thinking, what should I have for lunch? And I'm like, I think I'll make myself a salad. And then I might be reminded, as a kid, I never liked salads. And, the reason I didn't like them because my mother would always put onions in them. I tell her, Mom, please give me a salad without onions. And she just wouldn't listen to me. My mother never listened to me as a kid. So we've gone from what am I having for lunch to everything is my mother's fault. But the thoughts that got me there were all connected. So that is how thinking happens. One thought is related to the next thought. So what is writer's block? Well, writer's block is basically cutting off this naturally flowing train of thought. And how did you do this? By showing your brain a blank page. So what does this make you think? What does this inspire? What does this make you feel? Yeah, a big old fat nothing. So this is why if you start with a blank page, you're likely to end up with a blank page. So how do you prevent this? Well, what you have to do is get your thought process started. Basically, you need to get information flowing into your brain. So first of all, step away from that blank page until you already have an idea. And how do you come up with an idea? Well, you need to get information flowing into your brain. You need some kind of stimulus. And so read a book, watch a movie, go for a walk. Anything that gets information flowing into your brain. Start reading a book. Say you're reading a book and the main character is terrified of birds, which will remind you of the parrot you had as a kid and how you taught this parrot to swear and how every time your grandmother came to visit, the parrot swore at your grandmother. So you started by reading a book and it led you to your own story, which brings up the question, well, what if I'm not writing a book that has anything to do with swearing parrots? What if I'm writing a book about growing up Native American on a reservation? It doesn't matter. Because once you get your thoughts flowing, once you get that train of thought activated, you can direct your thoughts. But when you have zero thoughts, there's nothing to direct. So Hemingway understood this really well, and he relied on a slightly different technique to make sure he never had writer's block. He quit writing when he still had stuff to say. Why did he do this? Because the next day, he already knew where he was going to start writing. His mind wasn't blank. It started with an idea, and he knew exactly what that idea was. He described this in an Esquire article, and I'll just give you the quote. The best way is always to stop when you are going good and when you know what will happen next. If you do that every day when you are writing a novel, you will never be stuck. So Hemingway knew exactly what he was going to write when he sat down to his typewriter. So if you want to prevent writer's block, you need to keep your mind from being blank. You need to feed it any kind of stimulus, and you will get the thoughts flowing and you'll get your writing back on track. If you'd like a free 7-part class on memoir structure, be sure to click the link below this video. Otherwise, be sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Take care, guys.